Hey everyone, welcome to the Costume Jewelry Chronicles with Lynn and Carrie. Each episode we will feature a new vintage costume jewelry designer and talk a little bit about jewelry reselling. We hope you enjoy. Welcome everyone to the Jewelry Call. It's June 3rd and we're talking Disney pins today. I'm excited about this. I really knew nothing about Disney pins, but I learned a lot in the past week. And I know that a lot of us get these Disney pins probably thrown in with lots, and you pick them up thinking they're worth $2 or $3. And what I learned this past week, the majority of what I learned was there's probably more fakes out there than there are real ones. So being able to identify them is the real ones is probably the most important thing, in my opinion. With that, I'm going to share my screen before we do any questions. Okay, so we're talking collectible Disney pins, and we're going to discuss the acronyms they use on the back of the pins, identifying real ones versus fake. I'm going to cover a brief timeline about when these pins were created, and then we're going to talk about the top 8 most sought after pins. So there is so many acronyms on the backs of these pins. And the most common one you'll find is open edition. These are ones that were mass produced and not limited in quantity or time. So they're available until Disney decides to retire them. So they're in all the Disney shops, and they're actually, when they do retire them, they send them out to a store outside of Walt Disney World in Orlando. And I think it's called the Disney World Outlet. There's outlet in the title, and they sell the pins for a lot cheaper. These are great for, like, if you head to Florida and you want to go do some trading at the park, you might want to hit this store before you go, because you can get some good trading pins at cheap prices to bring to the park to trade. Hopefully you get some other ones that you like better. So all the other ones are more sought after ones, like WDI is Walt Disney Imagineering, and we'll go through these individually and I'll explain a little bit about them. LE means limited edition, LR means limited release, CM is cast member, DE is a Disney employee. I think there's DEC as well, which is Disney Employee Center. And DSSH is the Disney Studio Store in Hollywood, California. And PP is pre-production, AP is artist proof, and MOG is Mickey's of Glendale. So there's a lot to remember with this. There's so much info out there on identification, on everything. It's overwhelming, actually. So what I did was try to narrow down what I could to simplify this. So we're going to talk about identifying them, and what this will entail is the weight and material, the front and the back of the stamp. So first we'll start with the weight of the material, and this is typically made of metal and enamel on the front, and feels solid and weighty. When you got fakes, they're usually lighter and cheap, sometimes made from inferior materials and a poorly coated metal. The front, they're made of enamel on metal. The enamel will be smooth all the way to the edge of the piece and will not have dips. So when you have the pin in hand, it's hard to see when you're looking at a photograph, but when you have the pin in hand and you hold it in the light and it kind of gives that reflection, you're going to see little dips in the enamel, meaning it was made cheaply and they didn't fill it with enamel. So it's like the Disney ones are smooth all the way across. You don't feel the little lines of the design, and it goes all the way to the edge, like I said. The front, no, they're not really high gloss either. They kind of, some of them maybe, but most of them are kind of a, I don't want to say matte. They do have somewhat of a sheen to them, but not high gloss like some of the cheap ones look. And everything, when you think Disney, you think high quality. They're very particular about quality. So if you look at the eyes of the princess, a lot of times the fake ones, they'll look like they're cross-eyed or they have crazy eyes. Disney pins do not look like that. Their eyes are perfectly done. So you got to look at the fine details of it. And I think the more you look at them, the easier it's going to be for you to identify it off the bat. And Mickey ears, when you see Mickey ears on them, they're precise. On the fakes, a lot of times the ears look funky, like they're too close, they're not spaced accurately, or they're in the head too much. It's obvious when you see some like that. You'll know then. The back stamp is probably the biggest thing for identifying real ones. So an authentic back, let me go to this one. An authentic back includes the official Disney copyrights. So you'll see here is a copyright symbol with Disney on both of these. Some of them will say have a copyright Disney slash Pixar, and then a pin trading logo, which is this on the left here, and it often has the year it was released on it. So this one says 2016, and it'll say official pin trading 2007 or 2016. So it says authentic official pin trading. It has this ribbon across it that says pin trading, and then the year, and it'll have Disney somewhere in the circle. This one says Disney Parks. And then sometimes there's a serial number or a limited edition size. And this one, I don't know what 3 of 5 and 5 of 5. If this is that rare, I doubt it. I don't, maybe it is the number of the limited series that they have. Like there's 5 in this series, and this is 5 of 5. And then they'll also have sometimes FAC or FAB code, which is where it was fabricated. It has to do with the manufacturing company. And then the location, made in China. So occasionally it'll have made in Taiwan or made in Thailand, but much less frequently. These are primarily made in China, where all the fakes are also made. So they call the pins that are fake scrappers. So the scrappers may have back stamps as well, so you can't look at that alone. You have to look at all aspects in combination. It's kind of like our other jewelry pieces, our vintage pieces. Some counterfeit pins are also produced in China, often from the same factories using the stolen molds or overproduction, which is unauthorized extras. So I heard that anytime they go through the pins and they're doing the quality check, if it's not, if it's subpar, they'll throw it in a bin. And this bin is full of pins. They're subpar, and some of the employees might reach their hand in there and grab some and take them out and sell them on the market as original, and they're actually bad. So this is a very difficult subject for me to explain. So I'm going to do my best here to explain the little bit that I know about these, because I've never traded pins. I'm not an expert. But just basing off of what I've read, you can get a good idea of what you're looking for. So just look at the outside edge of this one on the left as compared to the outside edge of the one on the right. Look how jagged the edges are. Disney would never allow this. Look how perfectly straight these edges are. It's the quality of the enamel as well, the clarity of the back stamp, which means, can you read these letters? This one's a little bit harder to read, and these may be just the photographs, but this one looks more rough And you also need to look at the spelling of the letters because they tend to spell things wrong a lot. And it's just more precise. Everything is very detailed and readable on the real ones. And if you are questioning whether it's actually laid out correctly or if it looks like this on the original one, you can go to a company called pinpicks.com. Or there's a lot of Disney pin trading forums too that will help you with that. But Pinpicks is a popular one that shows the original and the real one to compare. So there's a circular emblem, and it's going to have a central image of Mickey Mouse, and it's going to have this banner across it with the original reading "Pin Trading." That means it's tradable in the parks. The word Disney or official pin trading is what you'll see here, or around the ring, I should say. And then it often includes the year. Not all Disney pins have this logo. For example, DWI, DSSH, Disney Auctions, and Loungefly, which we'll get into later, pins may not have this. They'll have their own. And only pins created for Disney pin trading in the parks require the logo to be considered tradable. If the pin is missing the logo and it's not from the exception group like the WDI, it might be a scrapper or a fake. But again, you have to look at all aspects. Also, it should have the Mickey icon waffle pattern, which is what you see on the background here. And that has to be stamped all the way to the edge. And they started this in 2008 from my memory, 2008, and they said some of the pins continued for the next couple of years with no stamping on it. So this is a later design. And you'll see here is on the fakes, may have an edge on them that kind of, I don't know, these two are not real good examples to show that edge because this one looks like it has an edging around it. To me, it does. And then some of the other things to look for are the side nubs. These then on the side nubs, usually two. I've seen some that only have one on the smaller pins. For the most part, on these square ones, on the bigger pins, you'll see these two on both, and they're usually spaced accurately. And then the center really has a specific look. You just need to kind of look at all the real ones, maybe on pin picks, just to get an idea of what the real ones should look like. The fonts and spacing needs to be accurate, no spelling errors. The texture, like the real ones are smoother looking. The fake ones usually have some kind of texture to them. The Mickey waffle pattern, and then the border edges. Them are the clues to look for. Then we're going to just discuss the timeline of this a little bit. So before 1999, they did produce these pins. From the 30s to the 50s, Disney pins existed as promotional items and souvenirs, often enamel or cloisonné. Then in the 70s to the 90s, pins were sometimes sold at Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland as collectibles, but trading still wasn't a major factor. Then in 1999, that is when they launched the official pin trading. And boy, did this kickstart something. They started it at Walt Disney World Resort, and it included official lanyards, pin trading etiquette, and branded back stamps. Talk about the etiquette. There are I don't want to say strict, but serious rules when it comes to trading when you're at the parks. And I'm not going to get into all that, but if you want to, there's lots of videos out there of people that actually do trading, and they get into depth about that. Then in 2000 to 2001, they expanded to international parks and to Disneyland in California. So Disneyland Paris, Tokyo Disney Resort, they all started it. And then in 2000s to 2010s, there's a rise in the limited edition pins, and that's mainly what we're going to talk about here in a bit, and online collecting. So Disney auction pins were introduced online, or Disney pins introduced online exclusives in the early 2000s. And then pinpicks.com launched, helping collectors catalog and verify pins. And then Disney Studio Store Hollywood and WDI pins became collectible grails. So we're going to look at them too. And the 2020s, mystery boxes became a thing, and online drops and resurgence of all of this once they came out with the mystery boxes. With the pandemic era closures, pin releases shifted online, and Shop Disney created limited releases, which they still do today. And I think they launched them on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock Eastern time, something like that. So people, there's a lot of bots out there, but people will flock to buy them online on them specific Tuesdays, and they know all about it. So more collectors emerged, and TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube became a thing talking about them. All right, the top 8 collected Disney pins. Although we talk about these 8 specialty pins, the most common one is the OE, which is that, like I said, the open edition ones, which are found at all the parks and the outlet store. But we're going to be covering the better ones, which have more value. And the first one is limited edition pins. And obviously there's tons of these, but they are limited in production. Like this one here says limited edition of 1,000. This one is done by artist Monty Maldivin, and it's got its Disney signature, and it says China. So you'll see variations of made in China or just China. And there's a lot of different things. Like they make these in jumbo pins, and there's other, like the, what do you call them? The other, like Disney auctions and Disney Studio Store of Hollywood and WDI, they all produced limited edition pins. And a lot of these are from what they say LE 100 or lower. They're among the most sought after ones, obviously. So that's what we're going to be searching for, is the ones that say limited edition. The next one is artist proof, which is AP, and pre-production, which is PP pins. So the AP pins, there was only a few made, and you'll see here on the right, this is actually blurry because I zoomed in on this little section, but it is a real one. It says AP on the right side here for artist proof. And I did see other ones listed that don't have the AP on them, or I can't see it on the listings, like on eBay. I'm not sure if they're legit ones or if they're not, so I would assume that they put AP on all the artist proof pins, but that's just my guess. I can't verify that. And then PP pins there's some early samples with slight design differences, like they were more of a rare insider collectible. I don't think you're going to see the pre-production ones, if at all, ever, because it's just, I don't think there was hardly any made, maybe 5-10 of them. So if you ever find something like that, you got a good piece. But the Disney Studio Store Hollywood pins is DSSH. Now, these were formerly known as Disney Store Fountain, and these are limited edition ones sold in person at the DSSH in California. So many were found at events, like exclusive at events, movie themed, or release day pins. And popular series is Beloved Tales El Capitan marquee pins, and villain cuties. Then we have Walt Disney Imagineering. I think that this is more common. This one, you can find more of these. These were exclusive to the Imagineers, which is the Disney park designers, and only available at internal events or cast sales. So they're rare, but they get out into the public and people do sell them. So they are high quality and often LE 250 or lower. Like this particular one is a limited edition 200. And it does say Walt Disney Imagineering on it. So that's how they're labeled. The series include like park attractions, haunted mansion characters, and villains. Next one is Disney Auction Pins, which was produced in the early 2000s, sold via Disney Auctions online. Many were limited edition 100, often oversized jumbo pins with stunning details. This is probably the size of your four fingers. These are big ones. And the characters include I can never pronounce this, Maleficent, Ariel, Belle, and Jessica Rabbit are the especially popular ones. Oh, and it says auctions on it, disneyauctions.com. And the cast member ones is the next one, and this is only available to Disney cast members. And I thought this was really cool one on the right here, this Magic Kingdom Atlas one. They have cast member service anniversary pins and hidden Mickey previews or cast member Christmas gifts. So that's where they got them. Trying to see if that had cast member on it. I can't really see it. This one is a fun one. This one's pretty popular. It's called the Hidden Mickey series. It was formerly called the Cast Lanyard. And they're not rare, but certain older hidden Mickey pins were very collectible, especially those that were only available in the parks and hard to find complete sets. So some of the examples include Disney Alphabet series, completer pins, and silver chasers. When they talk about chasers, they're talking about more limited ones. Like they will introduce these in, I think these are in the mystery boxes. I'm pretty sure you can find them in the mystery boxes, but they may put on the box. Well, let's go to mystery box. Mystery box, they'll put it on the box that may include a chaser, or there's 8 in here and there's one more that's a chaser. Look for chasers or something like that. It's just a little more rare, the chaser ones. And some of these older mystery box pins are grails. Like people will try to collect all 8 of them or all 4 of them, whatever's in that mystery box. And they'll go on the hunt looking for that last one that they absolutely need, or the one that's this one. Say this one's harder to find. You're not gonna, I don't know, you're not gonna find it as easy, obviously. Park Pack 3.0 LE mystery boxes feature unique variants and designs. All right, next we have the top characters that you'll find that are sought after are, here we go again, Maleficent, Ariel, which is the Little Mermaid, Belle, which is from Beauty and the Beast, Figment, Jessica Rabbit, Haunted Mansion characters, Stitch is especially dressed when he's especially dressed as other characters, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which is the early Mickey Mouse, or the Mickey Rabbit, whatever you want to call it, and Disney cats and villains, most sought after. And then there's a collector favorite series. These are ones that are more sought after is the Beloved Tales, the Windows of Evil Magic, Stained Glass Princess series, WDI characters with park icons, and piece of Disney history with costume or prop piece embedded in them. So PinPix is definitely a site you want to look at if you are deciding you wanted to trade or if you want to learn more about what they really look like. And Disney Store, I threw that in there too because they do show the backs on some of them, and you'll be able to see what they actually do look like. Now, there are a couple other licensed Disney companies that make pins, and one of them is Loungefly and one is Monogram. I see more of the Loungefly ones. They're licensed by Disney, but they're not tradable at the parks. So you have to make sure it had that Disney tradable um, mark on the back. And that is it. We're going to go through and cover some of the eBay listings for some of the higher priced ones. I guess I could have just went there. But first, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. Are you familiar at all with that trading process? Is there like a a room in a restaurant that they do that, or do you just randomly grab people and say, "Hey, man, you want to trade
There,
pins?"
yeah, there are several different ways. So you can walk around Walt Disney World and go to the different shops. There's specific shops that have a board, and it's always up by I believe it's up by the cashier, so it's kind of protected. And the cast member will allow you to trade. You can only do two trades at one time, and you have to just point to the one you want. You can't take them off the board and keep looking at the backs of them. That's why it's important to be able to identify them from the front. So the more familiar you are, the better. And you say, I have this one to trade, they'll look and make sure you've got one that's an actual trading one, and you can trade it. There, you can buy, say, a mystery box at the counter and open it up, and they have a box with special ones in it. And you can say, I want to trade whatever you opened up. You don't like it as much. You want that one on the board. You can trade there. It's like the cast member handles all of that. And also, if you're out in the park and you see a cast member walking, and a lot of times they'll have like a crossbody thing with a panel of pins on their side, and you can actually go up to the cast member and say, would you like to trade a pin? And you can make a trade right there with them. But there's specific, I mean, they have to make sure it's a tradable pin that you have. So you kind of want to bring the crap pins that you have, like the ones you don't want, so you can get rid of them and get ones that you like. Meg saying, in addition to Loungefly pins, in case anyone doesn't know, some Loungefly Disney mini backpacks are bolos, and some thrifts think they are junk because they're just faux leather. Here we go with the faux word again. But I've sold them for $100 to $350. That's great to know. And then also, somebody said they don't like wearing the lanyards. They sell the lanyards as well, but they don't like wearing them at the park because they get in the way of the rides when you have to strap yourself in, and they fall off the lanyards. So there's other variations of holders that you can buy too.
Lynn, on the trading, is it always one for one, or they're like
Yes.
some are more? It's always one for one, no matter which.
One, that's my understanding. It's one for one. So they said you always want to keep in mind what you're trading for. You want to give something as good as what you're getting and vice versa. You want to know what you got. So you don't give up a good one for a crappy one. But I didn't talk about the hidden Mickey. I forgot to mention about the hidden Mickey. Them are fun. Like if you look at a pin and it's got a little Mickey. You got to find the little Mickey head in the pin, and it's considered a hidden Mickey pin. But them are a little bit harder to find. So Not too bad. I mean, they make them fun enough where you can find them, but I'm gonna share my screen and go through some of these on eBay again. All right, so I've put in Disney PP pin. Let me just get rid of this one. I wanted to see if I could find any pre-production pins, but I wasn't. Okay, so I sorted it highest to lowest. Let me just go through these first. I pulled up some individual ones that I thought were pretty good priced. So we got the Disney Employee Center one, which I didn't see a whole lot of these, but here's the back. It says Employee Center, limited edition 250. And it's got that FAC number on it, made in China, Disney Pixar. That one sold for $994. The more detailed these pins are, the higher the value they have. There's some very simplistic ones, but some of these that have this many characters in it, I can see why this one went for $994. Plus it's limited of 250. That was one of the other reasons. This little guy, you think he wouldn't be worth a whole lot, but he was worth $175. It was a Disney Parks Star Wars limited release one. And here's where the back looks like. And again, I had to really search through these listings to try to find legit ones because there's so many fakes out there. Honestly, I can't even be certain that these are all real. I'm thinking they are, but this one was pretty readable. It had, I can't get off of my thing off of this. Has Star Wars on it, has the castle logo. It says authentic. Just because it says authentic doesn't mean it actually is. Made in China, limited release on the bottom. It seems pretty readable, even though this picture is not the best. $175 that little guy sold for, and I think it's because it's a limited release, which is more sought after, and it's got all the little guys. This one, they called it a hidden Mickey one, and I'm like, oh, where is it? So I was sitting there and I was looking at all the little details, trying to find this little hidden Mickey on it, and it's like, boom, it's right there. This one, this one's more noticeable than most of the other ones. This one's pretty obvious, but I thought that was a pretty cool one. That one sold only for $23, but no, it's just listed at 23. I just thought it was a cool hidden Mickey, what they're calling hidden Mickey. This one's got Oswald the Rabbit, Adventures by Disney, Adventures by Disney. And this is probably an older one because it has this different type of back on it, stamped. It has the pin in the middle with the two little pins on each side. This one sold for $1,000. And we have a limited edition 100 or less, an artist proof one, $1,200 it sold for. Pinocchio. This one has a, what do you call these things? Like the iridescent, whatever. It has
Hologram?
print. What is it?
Hologram? I don't know.
Hologram, I guess. Yeah. It has the print that goes all the way to the edge. Doesn't look like it has an edge around it. This is a different print, and yes, they do different prints on the back too for the different categories. I'm gonna go read the lettering. It says DisneyAuctions.com. Limited edition 100, Disney Auctions exclusive, China AP, so it's an artist proof. And that one's directly on the stamping in the middle. $1,200 for that little guy. Be nice to find one of them in your jewelry lots. This one, Journey into Imagination. This is a rare one, sold for $1,200. It is a cast member one. And if you can see, it's just very clean cut. The eyes look good. The enamel looks really good. It's hard to tell from that angle. It does have somewhat of a gloss but it doesn't have any indentations in the enamel. It looks smooth all the way to the edge. This is an earlier one than 2008, so it's got the sandblasted effect on the back. It says cast exclusive Disney China, and it has this logo, which says official pin trading 2002. Sold for $1,200. Here is a engineering, I keep saying engineering, it's an Imagineering. Let's look at the enamel first. This has got glitter in it. This one's a little bit different. This is a really good image of the back. Walt Disney Imagineering exclusive, limited edition 250 Disney China with the FAC number. And it has the hats on it, the Mickey hats stamped, but these aren't all the way to the edge. It's sold for $1,326. This is made by these designers, so I can see where some of these might look slightly different than others. That's why I'm like, there's so much to know about these pins that I only know a drop in the bucket. This one is a hidden Mickey. Now this one I'm questioning. I believe this is probably faked quite a bit. This sold for over $1,000, and it looks like it has this little edge to it, which I don't think it should. See, it's real obvious right up on top here. That's what's throwing me off on this one, but apparently somebody thought it was real. And so I pulled up another one, but here's a little Mickey, hidden Mickey, which is pretty obvious, really. This one's Disneyland, but then this one is the same way. It has that little edge around it where I feel it shouldn't, from what I read. And this one, I don't know if it's the picture or what, but it has a pretty rough logo looking. Again, it's hard to tell by pictures. When you have them in hand, it'd probably be more obvious, I think. And see, this one's only got one pin on the side. So the other one does too. It only has one pin. So I question these, but both of them sold for over 1,000. This one sold for 1,500.
Wow.
So that's all I have on that. Is there anything anybody wants to look up while I'm on here? Let's see if I can look at how elaborate this one is. That's a limited edition 250. Seems like all the limited editions or limited release all have a lot of characters in them. This guy sold for 1,600. He is a WDI. The Imagineering ones are really neat and only done in the store. What's it called? The MOG, which is Mickey's of Glendale, and that is a Disney store on the Walt Disney Imagineering campus in Glendale, California. And it's an employee-only store, and they sometimes host limited public events or virtual sales. So that's where you're going to find them, which isn't too often. Another one for 1,500.
I bet these get counterfeited an awful lot given the money involved.
Oh yeah,
I just did a quick
yes.
look on Facebook Marketplace, and there's a bunch for sale here.
So the other thing is when you go looking at lots, I listened to a guy talk about buying these in lots. This one right here is a jumbo. These are jumbo pieces. These are all big and sold for $6,750. Now, if you go to this, they say when they're in plastic bags, it's a definite no-no. But this one I feel is a little bit different because it has the Disney UPC on it. what I'm thinking they're referring to is the plastic bag ones. If a, a seller has a whole bunch of plastic bag miscellaneous ones, they're probably from China. So you kind of want to avoid that. They said, look at the sellers and make sure that they look legit. This guy gives this long explanation. 300, this is a limited edition of 300 complete set, still in the original packaging and with the backing cards, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to kind of take into consideration where they're from, where they're selling it is, you can't see the back, so you really don't know. And then this other one, so is this other one legit? It's 5,000 pieces miscellaneous. This to me looks legit because somebody was trying to sell these individually theirself. Not saying that it is legit. I'm just taking a wild guess. They're from California and they have a wide variety of miscellaneous ones. That kind of gives me a clue that they've been collecting over the years. They're not all the same. They're not in little plastic bags, all looking the same, mass produced in China. They didn't give a whole long explanation, which makes me question it, but it might just be a seller just getting rid of their excess
I wonder if the
stuff.
original card helps. I would imagine so, as far as it being more legitimate.
Yeah. I would think, or is it this one? Let's see, like this one right here, it shows a little Disney. I see that on a lot of the real ones, but this one doesn't.
Yeah.
But these all do. These are the OEs, the mass-produced ones at Disney stores. So you can see, um, I mean, they look legit, except this one I might question. Although it does say Disney down here. Oh, it does have it. It's just real faint. So I wanted to try to find one that is like all plastic bags. I probably need to go to the cheaper end. Just go ended recently. But if you're a true collector, I guess if you're a beginner collector, you really need to pay attention. But if you're a true collector, you're gonna know. This one looks questionable. And of course, there's no other picture, but they're from Indiana. They probably should, it's probably legit.
There was something interesting on that. Go back. Quantity sold 10.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's the other thing I was going to mention. Yeah, if they have 10 of these, it's probably not real.
Right.
But, they could have went to the Walt Disney Park,
Yeah, see, I see
the
a lot
outlet
of legit
store.
sellers. Yeah, I see a lot of legit sellers that have that, but they buy cases of them and they're legit. If those were like real high end ones, that would make me question that, but they can buy those by the case.
Yeah.
Or just go, like they said, sometimes you can get these pins at the outlet store for $1 a piece.
Hmm. They also have a yearly Disney garage sale that people like line up for, and they get all the way to like 90% off everything.
And
A
they
lot
say
of
you
resellers.
usually have to wait like 15, 20 minutes to get in the store. There's always a line.
That's still less than what we wait at for estate sales.
Yeah, unless you
Oh,
get
yeah.
there 4 hours before opening.
Like Larry would do.
Hey, if I can get 5 cases of those things, you bet.
Yeah. But it depends on, you're probably not going to find your limited edition, limited release.
No.
These are going to be standard ones.
Yeah. At that
And
point, you're just
I
buying
think,
inventory.
yeah, basically. And sell it for $6.99.
But the multi-quantity listings wouldn't be that bad if you could get them by the case.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody loves Disney, I think.
I had some old Disney pulled up, but since we're coming up on an hour, I want to make sure we get our regular conversation in too. Lynn's your expert on Disney anyway, because not my thing.
No expert here.
I'm
Definitely
with
not an
Suzanne,
expert.
like I'm not a jewelry collector at all, but if I was gonna be, this probably would not be it. I'm not my forte. But there are people that are like crazy about the Disney pins and collectibles and they love it and they are super excited about it. And yeah, not me.
Yep.
Let's see. Did anybody, we'll go right into I think and the ones so Disney collaborations, that's what I had pulled up, was those are ones that seem to bring the higher price. I was actually surprised at how much money Disney doesn't bring in general in jewelry, like not what Lynn was showing, but just like regular jewelry, but like the Pandora Disney, the Swarovski Disney, the Wendy Gell um, collaborations, Pandora Disney. The collaborations do seem to do pretty good, but the regular, just plain ones weren't that big of a deal. All right, Larry, go ahead and kick us off, and then if anybody has any sales or finds or anything they want to show us or ask about, please do.
So I got this thing. I put it in a lot,
Yes.
but I believe it's really old. And the reason why I say that is the clasp and just the basic construction. I don't know. What do you guys, any comments on this thing?
I think it's handmade.
Yeah.
I think it's Tibetan. I think it's that standard Tibetan jewelry
It's
because of
not
the bottom,
like
the little dangly things and stuff. I get those a lot.
Yeah.
I think Harry would need that for his wife.
I do too.
I didn't even see trombone in it till he said that.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice piece. I wouldn't put that in a lot myself.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't either.
I was considering pulling it out, but in pulling it out, I'm even at that, I'm looking at like $29, right? Or so.
Yeah,
It's in a lot for
I would
me, so
I currently
22 bucks.
have it in a lot. I'd have to break up a lot, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Well,
And
just
this
leave
was
it.
a really pretty green stone. There was a little water stain on it, and here's where I wish I had a Presidium because I strongly suspect this is not glass. But anyway, the other one I wanted to show was this guy.
Is it
Very
branded?
no, there's
It
no
looks like
markings on it
Germany.
at all. I should have taken a picture of the thing open, but it is open on the back, but
As the foil.
yeah,
Is there's not a mark right where your cursor was on the top of on the clip.
no, there's no mark.
Um,
I've studied this thing for at least a minute or two, looking for any sort of signs.
not on the curved part.
I think that's
Uh,
dirt.
It's probably not marked. A lot of times it'll say Japan right there, but it's so
Yeah.
hard to read.
Well, I got excited. It kind of looked like something that might be a higher end brand, but
It's nice. They're nice. The stones are nice in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're nice colors. Mhm.
Yeah.
And I
But
put
in the
these in the lot.
20s.
I kept these in the lot just to try to help drive the price of the lot. Because I figured on their own, these are probably, either $19 or $29. But I threw them in with the lot of like 8 others, a couple of which are signed. I got a Trifari in the lot. I'm trying to help, drive up the total sales price of the entire lot. I don't know if that's a wise move or not, but I'm trying it.
Since
Well,
it's
you're right.
unbranded, yeah,
Yeah.
it would probably help.
Yeah, my hope here is that somebody will see this and think that it's something higher end. Uh, and then I've got a couple of one's got milk glass, white daisy looking pair of earrings. Um, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm just I'm doing a lot more lotting. I'm trying to free up my dining room table and I've got boxes of miscellaneous lower end jewelry. I just gotta liquidate. So anyway,
So you
that
can
was
eat again.
say what?
So you can eat again
Oh no, we
at
have
your
no
dining
problem
room
eating.
table.
It's just the my my hoarding ways and lifestyle are creeping outward into my wife's house. And so I'm trying to be a good husband and deal with that before it
I like I
comes
like
up.
that. Your wife's house. That's a good statement.
Well, yeah, that's when you, yeah. Well, I mean, I was traveling an awful, I traveled every week for like 10 years. And, I was coming home to my wife's house, my wife's puppy. My dog didn't really get to know me until it was like 5 years old because I was gone Monday through Friday. Anyway, it's my wife's house. I just kind of live here.
Nicole, you had something?
Hey, morning. Thanks for the
Good morning.
Disney info, Lynn.
No problem.
Um, Surprisingly, out of all the lots, well, that's not true because I don't buy a lot of lots local, but anything that I've ever bought local, I've only found one Disney pin and it's like a cast member pin and it's not worth anything. But anyway, I had a two questions. So, when you list a brooch and a bracelet or earrings and a bracelet or earrings and a necklace, it's not a parure, it's not a demi parure. Which category do you list it under? Do you list it under a jewelry set? Do you list it under a brooch, a bracelet? Like, when do you list under jewelry sets? And then when do you list under, because I remember when I first joined you guys, there was Meg had mentioned something about like necklaces, like if you're selling a lot of necklaces, don't list it under sets, list it under necklaces. But I just wondered, because I have a lot of, and they're matching. I mean, I have married pairs.
They're
before.
matching, then they're a set.
Yeah, I agree. And I ran into this issue when I was trying to do a sale. I didn't want my lots to have free shipping. And I realized I was putting, like, say, a necklace and a bracelet, maybe two bracelets, something odd. So I put
Mhm.
it in a lot. But that I didn't care. I wanted that to be in my sale of free shipping, but I didn't want my bigger lots to be included. So I had to like think about how I'm going to list in the future to exclude them from my sales, from my free shipping, I should say.
I
So
mean,
I try to,
sorry, I understand what
no,
Carrie's, but like, what is the likelihood that someone is searching for jewelry set? Like, what if they're searching for a brooch and they said, "Oh, like, look, and I get a pair of earrings I didn't know I wanted, but I
But you
need them."
can put brooch in the title so it'll pull it up.
right.
Okay, so the category doesn't determine when
It's
somebody.
one determining, it's one factor. But if
I'm-
you have necklace and brooch both in the title, the algorithm will pick that up.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay. And if it's a married, like it looks very similar, but it's not necessarily by the same designer, does it same idea or
I usually put lot in the title when
you
it's
do?
like that.
Okay.
But you could put the category as set. Depends on, other things like the free shipping stuff.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I know I've been MIA, I've been dealing with graduation and transition and all that craziness, but clarify for me, because I've been watching here or there, like the replay, the S in the rhinestone and the S in the earrings, like when to put the S, when not to put the S, like rhinestone versus rhinestones. Like I must have replayed that 3 times and I still don't understand it, but my brain is fried right now, so I don't know if you could
Well, the way
clarify.
you can find that out for yourself, what's going to work is look to see. It's the same thing that way we research any kind of jewelry terms. So research how many people are looking for rhinestones unsold, how many people are looking for rhinestone undersold, how many does it bring up with earrings sold versus earrings sold.
And
It's the same.
how do you do that research? Like the search F font key or whatever?
No, so like you would go like, okay,
Cool.
like vintage rhinestone earring, and then you'd look at the actives, then you look at sold, then you would do the same thing with add the S on and see which one has a better result for you.
Okay. But if you're listing a lot of earrings, like a group,
And-
like, and you'd put S, right?
No, I'm saying in general, that's how you would do it, because I mean, it might be different for different categories, but
I don't think that eBay's gonna, in the algorithm, is going to reject your listing.
it's not, but you're not gonna
because
find
it
it pulled
doesn't
up in
have
search.
an
I tried
S.
it out before.
Yeah,
I
we
realized
did.
that's
Me
why
and Meg
it's-
both did it. They do. They absolutely reject it.
Really?
So do the
I
searches.
thought I
do
did it
searches
before
with
too.
solds.
Well, why would you put an at, like, for rhinestones? Like, in my mind, I would think
Yep.
someone who's searching for rhinestones is searching for like craft, like rhinestones. What if you put rhinestones? Like, I'm just trying to figure out when to.
Well, there you go. That's why it probably wouldn't work out as well
That's
for
right.
jewelry pieces.
Mm,
That's right. That's why I don't put an S in it.
okay.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
So just search solds and you'll see like some of them are dramatically different. Like the earring and the earrings, dramatically different.
Why would you search for an earring singular?
I was just trying to save characters in my title, and I thought it worked that way. And then I realized, why aren't any of these selling? And I was like, oh, okay, it matters, because you know how you
Because
take the
people will
S off
say
of women's, and
earring-
it's the same. It's not the same for other
Mhm.
words. That's the lesson. It's just gender. You can take the S off, not anything else.
So
Years
like,
ago,
Yeah.
they said that the singular and plural was treated the same way, but somewhere along the line they must have
Must
changed
have
it.
changed it because search doesn't reflect that now.
Search
And
doesn't
my
pick
lack
it
of
up.
sales when I did that reflected that.
I must be dense.
Oh,
Like, I'm missing it. Like, I'm not, my
No, you're
brain.
not. You said the right way. Like you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
you
why would
did it
someone
right.
search that? And
You
they
have it
wouldn't
figured-
search that way. That's the answer.
Yeah.
So I just typed in earrings and it brought up 4,300,000 and I dropped the S and it's 4,300,000.
Or you
This
want best
sold.
match too, and then look at solds too. Because
Right.
under best match, it shows up weird stuff. You have to sort high to low to get accurate results on actors.
Which is way lots of our customers search.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I would drop the S if I was listing a brooch, bracelet, and earring set, like I would drop the S then. But if I'm just listing one pair of earrings by a designer, I wouldn't put Irwin Pearl Huggy earring. Like I put Irwin Pearl.
Correct. I found this out when I
That's
was
the
doing
whole
earring
point.
lots.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Still doing the same.
So even if I search in my own actives for earring and not earrings, I get different results in my actives even
That's crazy.
because it doesn't recognize that S.
Huh.
I've done it both ways. It's the same both ways just now.
For
And it's
earring
up to you,
lots.
however. Yeah, we're talking about lots.
Oh. 45,000 earring lots or earring lot. Earrings lots 45,000.
See, mine, I've had I can't even find so this is something that would be interesting to know for sure is if I search in my own actives and just change a word a little bit, how much different results I get, which then makes me think if I can't find them in my own actives, changing a word, how do people find our item? So do that experiment sometime. Go into your own actives or your own, I do actives and search and just
What do you mean, your
variate
own
a few
store?
words. No, I mean like
You're
let's
talking-
say on your mobile device and you just say your active listings. And you just click the actives and
You
search
need-
and change word variations and I will find different, it'll pull it. Like sometimes I can't find something because the
Maybe
word's just a little different.
The phone is totally different.
But that's how most of our customers are searching.
Let
So
me
And you can
that's
just
see.
why
tell on your like active listing screen when no one's buying it and no one's even looking at it or watching it, then that's a clue too. Just in general, when rules are changing or the search changes sometimes and stuff. So that's
So
how
when
I
I
get
do all
clued
my
into it.
research, when I do any
Still doing the
research
same.
on your actives,
I don't see it. Yeah, at 45,000 and 45,000.
on your actives in your store, if you hit the
Okay.
active listings, I'm not even talking about earrings. I'm talking about anything. Go in and just variate a few words and see if your own items come up the same every time. And if you're doing, I highly recommend if you're going to do research on any kind of algorithm-ish type stuff, do it on the phone because that's what our customers are using, not the desktop.
Right.
But I have had trouble finding my own items under my actives with silly little variations. And I think, well, if I can't find it and I know what I'm looking for, how are my customers finding it? And then I'll have to type it in exact, or let's say it's the fourth word. Because I had a pine cone set this morning, right? And I knew I'd use the word pine cone. And I couldn't find it.
Go ahead, sorry.
Point was, if sometimes if I'll go to search, like, how many listings of mine have the word pine cone in it, right? None. Well, it was like the fifth word. I still never was able to pull that item up searching for pine cone in my own listings. But then I found it. I mean, it was right there, but it wasn't pulling up in search at all because I'm assuming it was too far down in the title.
Now, I agree that it does do that when you're in your active listings. When I've searched for stuff on the computer, it's done it that way too. But
Yeah, I just did it.
I really do it for other people.
I put earring with no S and it pulled up 0 in my actives. And I put earrings with an S and it pulled up 48.
That's what mine does.
On the computer.
Yeah, mine does that too.
I haven't tried it on the phone yet.
That's your listings. That's not necessarily what
Other
has sold,
people.
for example, in the community.
Right.
If they're active,
Right.
the active listing is an active listing. Do it in incognito, see if you get the same thing.
And again, I guess it's how fast they sell, and if they sell, and if they don't, then think about changing it or do research or whatever. I mean, things that work different for different people, but.
Yep, it's just like anything else. You just have to experiment with it, your own stuff, and see what ends up working best for you. That's all you can really do.
Do you guys ever pay the extra fee to list in 2 categories?
No, because I don't believe category placement really makes any difference at all.
It doesn't. Okay.
In my opinion, for my sales,
Okay.
I don't think what category I'm choosing, because how often do people search by category?
True. I mean, they search in, like, if they're looking for jewelry, they're in jewelry, but they're not like, yeah, that's true.
So if they're searching by category, then you're correct. It would totally make a difference. But if they're not in that category, just browsing, I don't know that it makes that much difference.
So really quick, you remember my Weiss earrings that we had that whole discrepancy on with the watermelon Rivoli? So they were in fact watermelon Rivoli because I did thorough research, and
they weren't the right color, Nicole. They weren't the right color.
But I sold them.
Well, you could have listed it as an Alfred Hitchcock earring and sold it, but I'm just saying they weren't the right color to be watermelon. So they were not watermelon. They were Rivoli, but they weren't the right color to be technically watermelon. Do people list it like that all the time? Absolutely. Is it totally wrong? No, but my job is to educate you just so your listings look the best and they're always correct. It wasn't the right color to be watermelon.
So, all right, never mind. Anyway, I sold them for $39.99.
Fabulous.
Thank you. And I sold those KJL with the green marquise, just flipping those words around, got it sold for 31. So I was like, yay.
Nice.
Good job. Yeah, they were nice earrings. They just weren't priced quite right. They were nice earrings.
Yeah.
Really nice earrings.
But yeah, when I did the research on the Weiss ones, I didn't even type in Weiss. All I did was watermelon Rivoli under solds, and I found identical brooches.
Right, but we don't want to be incorrect just because other people are incorrect.
Okay.
I type in Juliana right now. I can pull up a lot of things and show you it.
I know.
Right. Yeah. So
But I probably would have listed maybe it's
however
watermelon too. Who knows? If it has the best sell-through rate, then why not? There's no watermelon place. But
Correct.
at least you know now it's not technically watermelon.
Yes, that's it. Like, does lots of people do it? Absolutely. Is it totally wrong? No. Lots of people think that's true. It's my job to tell you what color patterns are actual true. You can do whatever you want to with it.
And the difference is that your interpretation of watermelon Rivoli has the green and blue and every single
colors of
color
watermelon.
shade. It's not my interpretation. Their actual combinations of colors are called those things. Yeah. The water.
Okay.
The water.
All
There's
right,
all
sorry.
different kinds of those, but yeah.
I didn't start something, but
It is what it is. I didn't make it up. It wasn't my term. I don't care. I didn't make it's the watermelon colors. Yeah. The pink and the green.
It does have green. Mine do have green. It's just the angle that you look at. never mind.
You can call them whatever you want. Doesn't make any difference to me. I was just trying to help you out.
Thank you.
Crystal.
Yeah, I had another word question. I was wondering if anybody had looked into bead versus beads versus beaded and knows which is the best to use.
I use beaded, but I don't have any reasoning behind it.
I have
I
an individual
usually
thing, but I can't remember if I've had any definitive answer. It might be based on like different categories or whatever. But I'll look like the highest price sold and do whatever they do.
Okay.
Probably
I'll have
solid
to-
advice.
And I usually use
look into
beaded
it.
unless I need room in the title. And I'll chop it to bead.
It said,
I could pull up one. Mesh.
That looks similar to
cool.
the birthday types,
Birth. Right. That's what I was thinking.
but
But I would put
I
mesh
looked at
in
them.
the
It's
title.
not exactly like.
You
But
have it sold already.
yeah, that's why it was a great sale. I listed it for 99 and it sold for 99 within an hour.
nice.
I could
Awesome.
see that. I would have picked that up
different.
in a heartbeat.
in good
Congratulations. That's a great one.
Thank you.
I think I might have used this as the front picture, the top picture. But I guess you can kind of see it on there. That's interesting.
You couldn't bring up my other one?
No. Let me try it
My
again.
other. Okay.
You
Try
could look
again
at her
if you- I'll
store
just
or
Oh,
I'll
it
just
came up now.
get up.
No, I got it.
it's being temperamental today.
Ooh, I like that.
Yvonne says. Nice. And that's just
So that
acrylic.
yes.
Loose.
That's why that's so wonderful. Now I didn't get that asking price, which was probably I thought when I listed it, I listed it a little high because I couldn't find anything just like it in Givenchy. I figured Givenchy would make it higher even though it was plastic, but I couldn't find anything really similar to it.
Very
So-
nice.
It's nice.
but I took an offer for 80 and I figured for a piece of plastic, it's good.
Yeah. I have a Givenchy that it's a set, and I keep getting this one lady who keeps trying to like give me half price for it, and I just keep telling her no, 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 not yet, not yet. I should just sell it.
Okay, Meg's got one and Audrey's got one in there. My stuff still doesn't work. So
All right, I'm gonna pull up Audrey's because I already had clicked on it. I had Meg's pulled up earlier.
I kept getting broken link, but I think my thing's just being stupid today.
I don't know, mine was doing that earlier when I was clicking on Disney stuff too. This is very unique.
That is very unique.
Is that like a photograph in there
Pretty.
or a drawing?
Eye portrait.
Eye portrait.
I had no idea
That is
these
cool.
existed. No idea. And apparently, I think I saw one that had sold for close to that.
Wow.
It's kind of creepy.
Those,
Well, when it sells,
So-
drinks on you for when we eventually meet up. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Oh no, it's not mine. It's
Really?
just one I stumbled across. No, I wish.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I thought that was your listing.
I thought you'd
So
sold
I
it.
was
And I'm
like,
thinking,
oh,
wow,
good
what
Lord,
a
no.
That's
sale.
awesome.
No. No,
Yeah.
I put in also that I had no idea that these even existed, but that's one of the things. Yeah, I'd be on the lookout for one of these now.
So
Apparently,
they're
it's
calling
cool.
it antique. Let's look at the back. They don't even have pictures of the back. Well, I guess this one
It
is.
was dated, yeah.
Wow. That almost looks rose gold because it's still so shiny and it's antique. Where's that other
She's
one?
got another one
This
too
is
for
it.
sale.
So it's 15 karat rose gold, it says in the title.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? I wasn't reading the title. That's interesting.
It's
Apparently,
cool.
they
I
were
didn't know
given
those
to
existed either.
lovers. and it's a secret whose eye it is or something weird. I don't know. But yeah,
Maybe
be on the
maybe
lookout.
it's a money laundering
Yeah,
ring
she's got 2 of them, and I think another one that's sold.
for 4,500.
Yeah, thereabouts.
So
I
yeah,
was
I
like,
what
if
actually
you
had
did
have a
you
two
sale
of
like
say?
these.
that,
The price?
Audrey,
Oops.
you need to, I was like, if you have a sale like that, Audrey, you need to plaster it all over. Well,
Oh, you
that's
kidding?
exciting
I'd be
news.
screaming. You might even see my face with that one, you know? That's nice.
So Meg, what did you say about this one? You lowered.
Oh, I had 2 of these necklaces actually. So I sold the first one on Poshmark for 50 a while back, and I had this one listed since March 31st, and I kept getting like every time I would go to send offers or whatever, it would be available to send one every 4 days. Like more and more people would watch it, but no one was buying it, and I think it sent them up to like 30 or maybe 35% off. So finally I got sick of it, and I just lowered it 5% the other day, and it sold like within an hour at 5% off. I was like, all right, whatever. So I don't know. Sometimes I guess that just works.
Just wasn't the right price, I
I
guess.
was very happy with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that person never
Did
got
it,
the original 20% offer or something. I don't know. Extreme.
did it have
I
the
haven't gotten the
DTR
J
on
King
it?
market figured out either. So
Yeah, it was one of the mine finds. I can't remember what the mark it had on it, but whichever one it was for the mine find one.
Find it.
some I feel
I
sell
guess it's
super
just
fast high, and then other ones just stick. So I can't get it figured out.
there it is.
Yeah, it's like hard to read. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for you. But
No, this is a good clear picture. There's the DTR if anybody wants to know.
I have a
It's
question.
D with the C
If
on top.
it's labeled DTR, is it always J King?
That's my understanding.
yeah, unless there's another designer with that I'm not aware of.
Desert Trading,
Desert Rose Trading is what I.
Desert Rose
Yeah.
Trading. Yep.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
is it it's always J King? So you could put J King even if it's just DTR.
I have.
Well, I've never.
I always have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think it's
'Cause
his
I
like
have a-
subline. I think.
I have a few that I have DTR, and I wasn't sure if it was J King, so because it didn't come with anything like sometimes they come with that little booklet, but so maybe I'll just change my titles and see if that helps.
Yeah. I guess just do a quick search too to make sure, but I think it's just his subline. But yeah, I guess make sure there's no other designers with that, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can do that. I don't see any reason why you can't, but if anybody knows different, that'd be good to know because then I'm definitely doing it wrong too. So
Well, thank you everybody for joining the Jewelry Call. We'll see you next week.